Cannons roar, and artillery shells pave the path ahead. The Red Army is on the march as a heavy SP artillery regiment takes on a German Waffen-SS force. It's coming up next as MGM presents Flames of War.
Okay, welcome back to MGM, a great place for casual gaming. Today the Soviets and Germans clash in the mission Dust Up. My good friend Jim will be commanding the Germans today, and I'll be taking my Soviets out for their second game. The Soviet Bagration Force has an IS-2 HQ, and the formation includes 4 ISU-122s with machine guns. There are also 4 ISU-152s with machine guns. On the ground, they will have a Hero SMG company, and in formation support, 3 BA-64 armored cars, 2 76mm guns, and 3 IS-2s. They will bring the command card, Make Your Own Luck. German forces have 2 formations, a Stug SS tank company with 2 assault guns in HQ. They have an additional Stug SS platoon, a Tiger SS tank platoon, and a Panzer IV SS tank platoon. An SS Panzer Grenadier Company is alongside them. It includes an SS Panzer Grenadier Company HQ, 2 SS Panzer Grenadier platoons, and a 7.5cm SS Tank Hunter platoon. The Lucky card is also taken. The mission we're playing today is Dust Up. It's a classic mission where meeting engagement and delayed reserves apply to both players. We'll be deploying and bringing in reserves as you see on the map. Objectives will be placed in opposite table quarters, and both factions will be trying to control them. The commander that controls an objective in the opposite table quarter at the start of their turn will win the game. As a note, we are playing for fun. These battle reports are purely for enjoyment, and tactics may be questionable at best. Our goal in providing these reports is to encourage others to get into the hobby and for our local game group to paint their models. I really appreciate you watching. You can support our efforts with a simple thumbs up. Turn 1 is coming up next. And with turn 1 upon us, both sides have been deployed. The Germans electing to keep their Tigers and a Panzer IV platoon in reserve. The Soviets keeping some ISU-122s as well as some IS-2s in reserve. The BA-64 armored cars did spearhead up and up first for the Soviets. The ISU-152s are going to play a bit cagey here, not able to shoot artillery in this one. They are going to back up, trying to get out of range of the PaK-40s. The armored cars also shuffle around slightly, getting out of line of sight of the Stugs as well as the PaK-40s. The commander in his IS-2 is going to move forward into the crop field. And Soviet turn 1 comes to an end. There's no shooting. We move over to the Germans for the bottom of turn 1. Now my opponent Jim, much more experienced player than I will go ahead and preface that. He does successfully pass a blitz with his Stugs, and they do move forward, getting into cover behind the building. The HQ unit tucks up to where they were, and that brings turn 1 to a close. Not a lot of action taking place there. My ISU-152 is just getting out of range of those PaK-40s, and we are moving back to the Soviets for the top of 2. Soviets gear up for turn 2, and the armored cars are going to move forward. They will attempt a blitz maneuver and pass, getting them out of line of sight. The ISU-152s are going to self-spot and prepare an artillery barrage. And rolling on the first attempt, that's a cocked die. We do re-roll that back out. It does fail. The second attempt will be good. This platoon is normally hit on 3s. This will go to 4s. And it looks like 2 of the teams will be struck. Rolling these as they lie, they will take their 3-up infantry saves. The first is good. The second is going to fail, and this will go to a firepower test as they are dug in, and that will be successful. Soviet turn concludes with pinning that unit down, the Germans taking their first casualty, but in their starting step, they are quick to unpin. Commander Jim elects to not make any moves, and we go to turn 3. Soviets rolling for reserves, and the ISU-122s will make their way onto the board. The ISU-122s open fire at the oncoming Stugs, and it should be 6s here, so they're hit on 3s. Concealed and gone to ground because they didn't move or shoot last turn would be 5s, and then they would be 6 for slow firing. We do count 2 of these and go to a firepower test. We do consider that one bailed, and the other one is destroyed. Plume of smoke raises high into the air on the right flank of the Soviets. The ISU-152s again prepare an artillery bombardment, repeating this time. The ISU-152s score 2 hits, and rolling for 3-up infantry saves. The first will be failed, the second will be made. We go to a firepower test, and another stand is removed. The unit once again pinned. As we move to the Germans for the bottom of turn 3, they will roll up for reserves, which will be successful. One of the Stugs attempts to remount, but is not successful. The reserves do make their way onto the board, and this will be the Tiger tanks as they move up into cover. The infantry platoon will attempt to unpin. They do have their commander close by, so getting a reroll, both of those fail. There will be a successful blitz maneuver by the Stugs as they will move forward tactically along to the side of the ISU-122s. A blitz from the company commander is failed. That unit will move at tactical speed, tucking out of line of sight. In the shooting step, the PaK-40s are going to open up at the 122s across the board. They are shooting at range and they have concealment, so this will be 4 shots hitting on 5s, and one of those shots will convert. The front armor goes to a 10. The shot will easily be bounced. The Stugs will then open up into the sides of the ISU-122s. They do land a successful hit against the side armor of 8. That will fail, but I will use Make Your Own Luck to convert this 1 to a 4, and that will bounce the shot. With the Germans unable to cause any casualties, we do move to the starting step of turn 4, rolling up for reserves, which is successful, and the commander radios to the IS-2s to come in on their right flank. The 122s are issued a move order, and they move at tactical speed, looking to get some shots on these Stugs. Soviet command, realizing a bit what's going on in this game, begins to push the 152s forward towards the objectives. With movement complete, we go into the Soviet shooting step. The IS-2s are going to unload into these Stugs. They are short range, normally hit on 3s, but they are slow firing, so this will require 4s, only 1 hit. Soviets fail their firepower tests. It's only bailed out. Now the ISU-122s will open up with 2 shots. We fire these 2 at a time, as they do have different modifiers. One needing a 5 gets a hit, and it will successfully destroy the tank. With no other shooting, that brings the Soviet turn to a close. The Stugs are in bad spirits, but they are doing a great job kind of keeping that right flank tangled up. We move over to the Germans for the starting step, where additional reserves will come onto the table. The infantry unit unpins, and then we roll up for the Stugs for remounts, rolling these as they lie, and that'll be 1 remount and 1 fail. A last stand check is passed, and the Germans will open up with movement, attempting a blitz maneuver here and failing. Lucky is used to re-roll this. It does fail. The Tigers are just going to move forward at tactical speed. Panzer IVs coming on from reserve are moving up where the Tigers were behind the building. The commanding Stug is going to dash back, and the shooting step will open up with the Tigers firing into the IS-2 HQ unit. The IS-2 would be hit on a 7, which is a 6 followed by a 5 or 6, and while he does get 1 6, he is unable to follow that up with a 5, and the shot misses. The PaK-40s will then open up at the approaching ISU-152s, 6 shots in total. And Jim just needs force to hit here with range. Front armor will go to a 10, so shots are assigned. We begin to roll these up. That first one is going to go to a firepower test for a potential bail. And that is going to be successful. That lead 152 will be bailed out. The second one, we will see a firepower test to potentially bail. And that is not going to be successful. We roll up for the last, and again, front armor going to a 10, the shot will successfully be bounced. With the end of turn 4, German planning is completely written on the wall, and the Soviet commander can see what is coming. And the question is, will they be able to react fast enough, or is it too little too late? In the Soviet starting step, we do attempt to remount on these 152. That is going to be failed. They will attempt a blitz, which is successful, and that will carry them across the middle of the board, getting closer to the objectives. The 122s will use a blitz as well, getting them on the road, and they will then use a road dash to take them further down onto the German left flank. Soviet IS-2, obviously not hearing anything from the commander, they swing around in the backfield. And we move to the commander himself. He is going to attempt a blitz move. This is going to fail, and he is just going to use a tactical move to reposition into cover. 76mm guns are going to pivot at the upcoming Tigers, but there's not a whole lot that they're going to be able to do against them. In the shooting step, the IS-2s are going to fire at the remaining Stugs, trying to clean them up. 3 shots needing 4 due to slow firing. They do land a hit. The firepower is successful, and that remaining Stug is destroyed. The ISU 152s begin to rattle off with machine gun shots. It will be 5s as the infantry are concealed and gone to ground. With a total of 4 hits, infantry saves, 3 ups will be required. We do have one in the center there that is going to fail. That is the commander of this unit, so we will be taking a firepower test for him. Remaining infantry saves, we will see 1 pass and 1 fail, so 2 firepower tests will be taken. We first roll up for that commander unit, and he is going to be destroyed. He quickly takes the place of another team as the remaining firepower test is failed. On the Soviet left flank, the commander IS-2 is going to fire into the Tigers, and this will be 1 shot that is going to miss. That brings the Soviet turn to a close, and we move to the Germans for the bottom of turn 5. And the Germans kick it off, trying to keep one of these Stugs in the game. He does have the commander next door, so getting a re-roll. These are both going to fail for last stand, and that Stug is going to take off. The remaining Stugs with the commander of this formation is going to continue to back up into the crop fields. The German right flank will see the Tigers push forward, getting ready to assault the SMG infantry. The Panzer IV platoon pushes forward as well, forming a wall of armor. In the shooting step, the PaK-40s are going to open up against the ISU 152s coming across the middle of the board. 6 dice splash the table, needing 4s. It is going to result in 2 hits. The front armor does go to 10. That first shot will be bounced. The second is going to be failed, and that is going to go to a firepower test, and that tank will be destroyed. We now move over to the German right flank, where these Tigers are going to fire into the IS-2 commander for the Soviets. They let loose with 2 shots and connect on one of them, and that front armor is going to go to an 11. But a 1 will be rolled up, and that is going to go to a firepower test. And these Tigers, when they hit, they're pretty deadly. That IS-2 is going up in smoke. The Panzer IVs are then going to fire into the 76mm guns. There'll be 4 shots coming from them. They are short range. They are getting the benefit of concealment. Still 3 shots are going to convert. We go to their gun saves, and the first 2 are going to be good. The second one is going to be good as well. The Tiger tanks then charge into an assault with the Hero SMG company. With 2 dice coming from the Tiger tanks, the result will be 1 casualty for the Hero SMG team. They are going to roll up a die to see if they can come back and motivate. They do have a commissar in this group. The counterattack motivation is successful, and they charge into contact, although they're not able to do any damage against these Tigers. The hope in continuing this assault is that the Tigers roll a 1 on their counterattack and fail to engage and get pushed off of the objective. The Tigers do motivate. They come in with 2 additional shots and take down 2 more stands. The Soviets heed the call of the Commissar and continue to throw bodies at the Tigers, although they're unable to cause any damage. The Tigers attempt to motivate again, and they roll up a 2 that is successful, and they will take 2 more swings against the infantry. 2 more dice will be rolled, and 2 more casualties will be taken by the Soviet side, the Commissar continuing to yell at them, motivating them to get back into combat. The Tigers will roll up a motivation to see if they continue to fight, and that is going to be successful, so the Soviets will have to deal with 2 more swings coming in from the Tigers. With 1 casualty being taken, they will again see if they can go back into combat, and that is successful. This time the Commissar is joining them. This time, however, the Tiger tanks would fail their motivation and they will break off. For the Germans, though, the damage has been done as those Tiger tanks fall back. The Panzer IVs do elect to charge into an assault with the remaining Soviets. With the 76mm guns just out of defensive fire range, there will be 2 successful swings, and the Germans will firmly occupy this objective. As we circle back to the Soviets for the top of 7, this tank will not be able to remount. There will be a blitz order that will be successfully passed here, and the IS-2s trying to do what they can, initiating a road dash as they attempt to cross the board to get to the Soviet left flank. Remaining operational ISU-155s continue to move forward, and alongside them, the ISU-122s are going to move into an assaulting position against the infantry. The armored cars then pop out of their cover and head towards the infantry line as well. The armored cars open up with their machine guns, needing 5s in order to cause a hit, and they will get 4. Saves are being taken by the infantry. 1 will fail, that will need to go to a firepower test, and that will be unsuccessful. The ISU-155s open up with their machine guns as well, hoping to pin the unit down. They do get 4 dice, and all of them are going to miss. Alongside them, the 122s will do the same, opening up with machine gun fire into the infantry. They will get enough to pin their unit, and infantry saves will be taken, 3 ups required. All of the infantry saves are passed. We move over to the Soviet left flank. The 76mm guns open up into the oncoming panzers, occupying the objective. This will be 4 shots needing 4s, and 3 of them are going to hit. With an anti-tank of 9, there's going to be 3 fails. The Soviets have some potential to do something here. We need to see some firepower tests to see if they can bail or knock out these tanks. We are wanting to see 3 ups. The first one is destroyed. The second is destroyed, and the third is going to be bailed out. So the Soviet heavy tank killer company comes alive, and we move into the assault phase, where the ISU-152s are going to charge into the infantry units. This draws defensive fire, first from a Panzerfaust, who is going to hit side armor of the tank. Soviets do roll up a 6 to bounce the shot. In defensive fire as well, there are 2 PaK-40s within range to take shots at the ISU-152s. They will get 2 shots each and hit on 3s. With 2 successful hits, we assign 1 each. Rolling up the armor saves, they do fail. So we'll go to a firepower test here, and both will be failed, so those 2 tanks will be bailed out. The ISU 122s are going to charge into the other infantry unit as well, and they will also be subject to defensive fire. The PaK-40s once again take aim, 3 of them shooting this time, 6 shots at their halted rate of fire, and they are going to be hitting on 3s. Rolling armor saves as they lie, the top 2 are going to fail and go to firepower. Firepower is a 3+. Rolling these as they lie as well. 1 will be destroyed, the other will be bailed out. The Mark IVs also fire into the oncoming ISU 122s. They generate 1 hit. The armor save will bounce the shot. There is a Panzerfaust in the group with the courage to fire, and he does hit on a 4. An armor save will be taken here, and it will be failed. The firepower is not successful, but it is enough to back these tanks off from their assault. As we move to the German bottom of the turn, we have a critical remount here to keep this platoon in good spirits. We're going to go ahead and roll that up. Can this Panzer IV remount and keep them in good spirits? He does. And because of this, the Germans are going to control this objective. And that wraps up our game of Flames of War. I really learned a lot in playing my opponent, Jim. He's a lot more experienced than I am at the game, and he was trying to point out some things of where the battle was going to take place, and I just simply didn't heed his instructions. I did not have an answer for what was happening on the flank when his Tigers came onto the board. I probably should have brought my IS-2s over on that flank. And really, if I kept them on the right flank, I should have pushed everyone up quicker and tried to get them into combat with their 3+ counterattack. Still, we had an amazing game. The result was a German 8-1 victory. Really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below, and I look forward to reading your comments as well. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.